So chest to bar pull-ups, there's no real mystery to it. It's only a little bit longer range or further range. So what we're talking about here is, can I take my shoulder, instead of just finishing with my chin over the bar, where my elbow is under my wrist and my chin is over the bar, can I take that shoulder into a little bit more extension? Can I bring that elbow behind my back, which is just gonna allow me to get that chest to touch? So that's one of the misconceptions that happens a lot. Everyone is trying to look for the bar and trying to get that chest up as high as they can, and what's happening is they're getting into this very dirty, broken back position where my neck is off, my rib cage is broken, my legs are all over the place, and I'm actually not even using my shoulder range. I'm just trying to use that chest to get up. So what we're gonna talk about is, how can we take this nice, clean kipping pull-up that we've seen a lot in our gymnastics movements and start addressing, rather than chest up to get that chest to the bar, is just pull the elbow behind your back. So come on over here, let's talk about that. I think key thing is to be able to see it. If you can see that as I come up into that bar, the elbow, all it has to do is end up behind the back, is gonna give you enough room to get your chest to the bar, then you're halfway there. Now you just have to be able to execute on this. What happens at the top of the pull-up is that it gets a little sticky. Here we're comfortable because we can yank ourselves up there, but we usually lose traction by dropping that shoulder off that shelf. So what we want to really focus on is, can I get a nice tight back as I initiate my pull? Can I keep that shoulder back in the socket? And then can I fall through by just finishing with my elbow behind my back? There's no need to do these crazy broken back positions, looking for the bar, legs broken, etc. So we're gonna try to take a very clean pull-up, and all we're gonna do is, at the top, instead of just allowing my chin to hit, I'm gonna allow my elbows to finish behind my back. So elbows behind my back, that's the key for success. So kind of following our skeleton of position, movement, purpose, in this case we're gonna talk about what is the starting position, which I would be my body in full extension or global extension, and my finishing position, which would be my chest touching the bar, elbows behind my back. How do I get there? Adding movement to that is basically just having a nice little kip or a swing. When I'm at the back side, we'll call this the front side because I can see my bar. When I'm on the front side of that swing, I want to be able to pull myself over the bar and finish with my elbows behind my back. So that finishing position is going to be elbows behind my back. We talked about this now 10 times within the span of 3 minutes. So I think there's something to it, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bar, put it kind of low, or put a box under a bar, just to be able to drill what it feels like to do this movement. So what we're going to focus is, can I hang from that bar? Can I work on getting my shoulders moving? What does that look like? And what would it feel like to follow through into just a nice easy chin over bar? I got my chin over bar going. And now, can I follow through with elbows behind my back? Where is that range? Just being able to feel that movement and feel what it feels like to get my chest to the bar allows me to get a concept or get a roadmap on how much further do I have to go. My chin is here, the bar is here. How much further I have to go to get my chest to touch the bar? And what you can start exploring is, how high can I actually get that bar on my chest before I don't have any room anymore in the elbow joint and the shoulder joint? So that's something for you to explore. Everyone works a little different. Everyone has different mobility capacities. So start exploring that. What's your range? What's the minimum amount of shoulder extension and elbow flexion that you need just to get yourself up there? So once you've done that, you can also actually go and practice your butterfly. So same thing with the butterfly. Hit the bar, elbows behind my back, drop down, hit the bar, that's my range. Can I go even higher? Okay, that I can handle. Get under the bar. Where are we working? That's the key thing. So we're starting to address position. If we know where we have to finish, especially during warm-up, as we go into the actual grind, we'll be able to get there a little bit easier. So another very simple way of getting the exposure of being able to pull, get your elbows behind your back and feel that chest touching the bar is just by grabbing the low bar and doing some just hanging rows or inverted rows or whatever we want to call them. where we go into a nice straight body position, and all I'm doing here is the reverse pull-up. So all I'm doing is doing a nice little pull where I'm bringing my elbows behind my back and just feeling my chest touching the bar. You may be thinking, why is he in so much extension? The reason I'm in extension is because most likely if I'm doing butterfly pull-ups later on, I'm gonna be in that extended body position. But the key thing is that my butt is tight. You can practice them in a hollow, but when you're in a hollow, it actually becomes a little harder to get there. So driving that chest up a little bit, driving with the hips is gonna get you a little bit more room, and you're gonna be in the position. So hanging rows, just another way of getting the feel for it. Here comes the secret sauce. The same way we were doing our toes to bar, where we were talking about hanging with our shoulders up high by our ears and head in the whole time in order to avoid a lot of this shoulder flexion. In this case, this is extension, sorry, but hanging there to be able to start addressing my pull-up is gonna be key. If I start yanking my head back in funny positions, I'm immediately gonna start breaking in the rest of my body. So key things is, as I'm doing my pull-ups, can I keep my head in a neutral position and just trust that if I move my shoulder in the right way, the bar is gonna address my chest and I'm gonna get it done. So what we're talking about here is this. Can I look into infinity, spot something, and just keep moving without allowing my head to break? This broken head position is actually way more work, and it's gonna destroy you immediately, because as soon as you go into the thruster and you get your neck back in that position, easily you can get an exertion headache, you'll feel compression, you're gonna be destroyed. You wanna have something left. In this case, this is 11.6, so you can do it over and over again, or you can just do it today and then you have a couple of days off. But if you're in real competition, you wanna be able to recover quick. So how are we gonna start strategizing for real competition day, where we have several workouts that we have to get through and we really have to recover well? So being able to maintain a neutral position as we're doing our chest to bar, doesn't matter if I'm doing butterflies or regular kipping pull-up, I always want to have my head in that neutral position. You'll see that if you practice during warm-up, it may feel a little funky, but as soon as you warm up and you get that intensity going, it's gonna save you a lot, and all of a sudden your chest to bar is gonna be your resting station. So the biggest question I get all the time is, do I have to do these perfect looking or nice looking pull-ups during my CrossFit workouts? It depends on what your purpose is. In this case, 11.6, your purpose is to get as much work done as possible. So you're gonna use whatever you have in the tank to get yourself up there as many times as you can, and to get through those 7 minutes just grinding. So during warm-up, yes, do these nice looking pull-ups where you're nice and clean with that body, nice and bowed, going from extension to flexion to be able to get you into places and really trying to find the chest to bar. But as you get into a workout, you're actually going to start using hips and legs. There's going to be a little kick and kip. If you watched Adrian Bosman coach the kipping pull-up in the past, that's totally legit. You should start kicking, because that's going to help you out. But make sure you maintain these principles of chin in, everything is in a good position. If from my head to my butt I can maintain strong positioning, everything else is just a projection of what just happened there. So we're going to show you a couple examples of what we're talking about. We're going to start with a nice clean gymnastics or perfect pull-up, kipping pull-up, which is not the perfect kipping pull-up, it's just a nice clean version of it. And then we're going to backtrack into what does it look like when I start bending my legs, using my hips. Is it still legit? The key thing is that you have to look from head to hips. Is that principle maintained? Then everything else is just a projection of it, and you'll be on the right track.